This is the Polestar 2, a stunning piece of design. It's absolutely beautiful. It's also a great driver's car with all-wheel drive and about 400 horsepower at your disposal. It's also fully electric. Now, I've got a 200-mile round trip today, about 325 kilometers, and I want to know, is it up to the job? So what exactly is it then? Well, we know that it's the Polestar 2, but this is the long-range dual motor version. So we've got 300 kilowatts of power on tap. But crucially, what we're looking at today is range and battery size. Now, it's got a 78 kilowatt hour battery, 75 of which is usable. WLTP is indicated between 450 and 480 kilometers. But we know we're not going to hit that for a couple of reasons. And that's because of the drive that we're about to do today. Now, it's winter time, temperatures are hovering around that 5, 6, 7 degrees Celsius. But about 80% of the trip that we're going to do is going to be on motorways. And I'm not going to be hanging around. We're going to be going at the speed limit where it is possible. So, will it be dicey? Will we get home on 1 or 2%? Might we run out on the way? Theoretically, who knows? Or we could end up on 20%. We don't know yet. But it's not just about simply range tests. Will it make it from A to B and back again? I want to get a feel for what this car is like when you need to munch up the miles on the motorway and do a good bit of driving on a long trip. But first, we got to get the family into the car, get the baby seats in. We're going to fill up the boot with a whole load of luggage for staying over tonight. We're charged up to 100%. So I think it's time to plug this out, get the car packed up and hit the road. So the plan today is to head from where I live on the outskirts of Drogheda down to Kilkenny, and it's a tiny little town. I can't even pronounce the name of it, to be honest, but it's about 160 kilometers away, so it'll be about 325 kilometers round trip in total. Now, a couple of rules as well, like we've checked tire pressures, so everything's in decent condition. The car has been charged up. We've only just finished charging it, so the battery should be a little bit warmer. It hasn't just been sitting cold all night. We're not going to hang around. It's going to be motor-type speeds when we can, and that's going to be about 80% of the journey, with some kind of country, regional roads as well, and a small bit of town driving. Majority is going to be motorway. So I'm kind of expecting the car to do it all right, but there's a lot of weight in it. It is winter time, so it's hovering just above 10 degrees there at the moment. We're going to stay overnight down in Kilkenny and then come back the next day. So the idea is that we get down there, we still got something like 55%, so we're pretty comfortable that we have enough to get back again the next day. So this will be interesting to see. Polestar was incredibly solid on that motorway journey all the way down. Now, it was about 165 kilometers that we did yesterday to get down here. So let's have a look at it now. We'll put it into the sat nav and see how we're going to get on the way home. Another point to note is that we're leaving on a battery that's going to make it a little bit dicey to get home on that single charge, because we did a little spin around here. Didn't have to be that way. As you can see over my shoulder, friend here beside the fantastic heat pump has a Zappy charger, so we easily could have left on 100% today, making the journey back home no problem. So it's a bit unrealistic in that sense, but we wanted to get a figure, a real kind of good view on what it would be like going from 100% as down as low as we could before we get home later on today. Great thing about the Polestar 2 is got Google built in. So let's bring up maps here. And we will type in roughly where we're going. So there we are. So we've got 46% battery left, 180 kilometers is the indicated range here, and our journey home is going to be 164. So the Polestar has it calculated that we will arrive home on 0%, because this looks at the type of driving that you're going to be doing, be it motorways or back roads and so on, and it calculates the amount of battery that you'll need. And it's saying we will arrive home on 0%. So the car reckons it's cutting it pretty close, but to be honest, I'm comfortable enough we're going to make it back with, 2, 3, 4, 5% to spare, something like that. Anyway, might as well hit the road and find out what happens. So we're just back into the driveway. We thought to do a little roundup. Polestar handles the motorways really, really well. It feels so solid on the road, and there's just so much power there on tap. So anytime you want to merge lanes or anything like that, there's no issue at all. This thing just handles so well. And even when we got down to the back roads down in Kilkenny, that's when this car really came alive. And everybody in the car here, we were kind of taking it easy, but it was just begging. It was just calling for me to start throwing it into corners a bit more, but it wasn't going to do that. So how did we get on? Well, we've done a total of 337 kilometers over the whole weekend, with an average of 20.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer. So I'm kind of content with that. I mean, this is not the most efficient car. I think some of the competitors of this car would have had that down at around 16 or 17 in those kind of driving conditions, I'd say. But we could see the difference coming home. Now, we did 166 kilometers on the way home because we took a small detour to go to a shop, and we averaged 18.8 on the way back. So that definitely helps with the weather. It just been a little bit of a tailwind coming home, and it was dry as well compared to on the way down where it was raining a good bit and into a strong wind. But yeah, the Polestar handles the motorway really, really well. It just feels so solid. Plenty of power there on tap just to get you up to speed whenever you need it. Now, I'm a little bit either I can't figure out how to work it, or the car just doesn't have adaptive cruise control, although it looks like it's got the buttons to control it there. So that's a little bit of a downer for me. And then also it has lane departure warning, and you can feel a little twist in the steering wheel, but not enough that it will kind of steer itself. And compared to some of the competition out there on these kind of longer journeys, it would have been nice to have that. So it's both great news and a couple of things that I would like them just to improve that a little bit, namely the efficiency and the adaptive cruise control. But it's a stunning car. It can well handle a trip there like we did of 330, let's call it 350 kilometers. This would have done it easily enough. And that was in pretty bad conditions overall, or about as bad as we get in Ireland anyway. So yeah, fair play to the Polestar.